In this video, we're going to talk about how we identify the main idea. So our learning target for today, our goal, is that by the end of this video, hopefully you can say that I can analyze a text for its main idea and supporting details to better understand how to develop purposeful writing. So when I'm talking about the main idea, I like to think of it as an umbrella. I call it the main idea umbrella because our main idea falls or embraces the category of fiction as well as nonfiction. So in fiction, when you're asked what the main idea is of this piece of fiction, you're thinking of the theme. So that is the one sentence that explains what the author is claiming about society. I like to think of it as the fortune cookie criteria. It has to apply to society in general. When we're talking about nonfiction, however, which is what we're going to focus on in today's video, the main idea of a nonfiction piece is its purpose. So the reason that the author has written the text. It might be to persuade, it might be to inform, whatever the case. So today we're going to be focusing in, as I said, on that nonfiction piece. What's the purpose of this article or this nonfiction piece? So to determine the main idea, when I look for the main idea, I notice significant diction. So remember, that's word choice. I look for the topic or subject of the piece. I like to know what we're talking about so I can see how the author feels about this topic. I notice the title and what it tells me about the main idea. Sometimes it's going to give me better information than others. And lastly, I like to notice the details and consider why the author might have included these specific details, or maybe why the author didn't include certain details. So I'm going to go ahead and model for you my thinking as I break down the main idea in this particular nonfiction article. So as I read this article and as I annotate it, I'd like you to think about, what am I noticing as the reader? What am I noticing? How am I identifying the main idea in this passage? So I'm going to go ahead and start, as I said, by looking at the title. For gay and transgender teens, will it get better? So right away, I'm noticing that this title, I'm thinking maybe the topic is going to be about how gay and transgender teens are doing. And again, I don't know, or I'm looking for the purpose of this article. So why is Jenna Wortham, the author, why is Jenna writing this? I'm not sure why Jenna is writing it yet, just based off of this title. I'm not sure if Jenna is trying to argue something, trying to inform. I'm not sure yet, so I'm going to keep reading. But I do know that it's probably going to be about how gay and transgender teens are doing at this point. It's easy to assume that now must be a better time than ever to be a lesbian, gay, or bisexual teenager. We recently celebrated the 1-year anniversary of the Supreme Court's ruling in favor of same-sex marriage. Our culture has grown more accepting, too. One of the most anticipated albums of the year, Frank Ocean's, embraces his desire for men. These factors work together to create the illusion that as a society we are barreling toward a world of complete liberation, where everyone is truly free to be whoever they are. So it looks like at the beginning here, they just seem to be listing some facts, listing some things that are going on. I'm noticing this word here, easy to assume. Easy to assume. So this is that piece of diction that I'm thinking maybe the author doesn't actually believe that now must be a better time than ever to be a lesbian, gay, or bisexual teenager. I'm thinking that the author doesn't agree with this statement. So the author maybe doesn't think that it's getting better. The other thing I noticed as I was reading, so these factors work together to create the illusion that as a society we're barreling toward a world of complete liberation where everyone is truly free to be whoever they are. I'm wondering why they used illusion. That's another piece of diction that makes me think an illusion is fake, so not real. And so I'm thinking maybe it looks like the author doesn't believe we are a society where gay, transgender, and bisexual teens can safely be themselves. That seems to be what the author is saying so far, but again, I'm not quite sure. Is the author trying to argue that with this piece? Are they just trying to inform us that is not the case? I'm not sure yet, so I'm going to keep reading. A major study by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has revealed that for high schoolers, that narrative simply isn't true. So this is what I like to call a supporting detail. So I'm going to note that over here. This is a fact, and they're using this detail. Again, I'm noticing, why are they using this detail? I'm not sure yet, but they are going to be using this detail to push forward their purpose in some way, shape, or form. So I'm going to note that this is a supporting detail, and I'm going to see why they're using that detail here as I keep reading. In August, the CDC released the results of a national survey of about 15,600 students, grades 9 through 12, to better understand high-risk behaviors among that demographic. It is one of the most comprehensive studies of gay and lesbian teenagers' well-being to date. The survey does not yet include an option to identify as transgender or non-binary. So all of this right here, this seems to be just setting up all of this right here just seems to be setting up this study, although they use statistics, and sometimes I think, oh my goodness, they're using numbers. That should be a helpful supporting detail. It's not actually that helpful. It's just giving us some details about the study. So I'm going to keep reading. It confirmed what had long been suspected, but was perhaps lost in all the excitement over the gains being made, that sexual minority youth still face challenges their straight peers do not. Teenagers who identify as gay, lesbian, or bisexual, they make up about 8% of the high school population, or roughly 1.3 million students, suffer from substantially higher levels of harassment and physical and sexual abuse than those who identify as straight. So I think what I'm seeing here, we've started to see the author's argument. So why is Jenna Wortham writing this article? I think that Jenna Wortham is writing this article to, let's see, my main idea or the purpose seems to be to persuade people that our sexual minority youth still face challenges. So that's making me think that the author is trying to persuade us that perhaps things aren't as good as we'd like to think they are. Trying to get people to wake up to this idea. So what I'm going to do is now I want to continue reading to find a few more of those supporting details so that when I go to defend my point that this is the author's purpose, I can say I know this is the author's purpose because A, B, and C, because I have these supporting details. So the first supporting detail I saw here is that these teenagers who identify as gay, lesbian, or bisexual suffer from substantially higher levels of harassment and physical and sexual abuse than those who identify as straight. So I'm going to say another supporting detail. Right, and then I would continue reading to find some more supporting details, as well as to just continue to confirm that this is my main idea and the purpose of the text. So that, in a nutshell, is how you identify the main idea of a passage.